For our third question, how do you decide what to post on your blog at any given day? Who would like to start with that? Want to take that, Sandy? Okay, Sandy will start with that.
I think this is an issue that comes up for every blogger, what to post about. It can get to be a dilemma, and sometimes I'm torn between making myself happy and making my readers happy. But the posts that aren't written for myself just never turn out right. They're kind of fake sounding. I can tell that something isn't there, so in the end I end up having to post something that I feel passionate about, that I wrote for me. So usually I'll write about something that happened in my everyday life, or something that I've read that really inspired me. But my one rule that I always follow is that whatever I say has to be said without tearing anyone down or hurting anyone, because I think I see a lot of very passionate things that are written that might be kind of carelessly said. So that's just the one rule that I always have to follow.
Were you always considered a good writer, or did you struggle with writing at any point?
I feel terrible about this, because when I was younger, I actually was considered to be a good writer.
You were a good writer.
Yeah, I got perfect scores on my PSAT and SAT writing tests.
And you would feel terrible about that?
Well, because I feel like that's not reflected on my blog. I read my blog sometimes and I'm like, wow, it really happened to me, but I guess a blog is not reflective of your
I think blogs
technical skills.
They allow you to be very personal, which means you don't have to be precise. Huh? Do you think the blogging has helped you to take perspective of what other people are thinking about as you write, and trying to be more sensitive to that? In terms of how they read you and how they're interpreting what you're saying? I'm not quite sure on that. When, as you write things, you write them from your own perspective, but people read them, and you have to be considering what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Has that sharpened in you as you become more sensitive of what people are thinking as they?
Yeah, I guess that's the hard part, because it's not always about just pouring my heart out. I have to think about what somebody's reading into it.
Yeah.
And so it starts to reflect more and more what somebody else is seeing.
Very cool. Good. All right, thank you. Who'd like to take that same question? All right.
What's the question again?
The question is, how do you decide what to post?
All right. Well, I think that autistic people have basically, at least my own personal experience, before I started my site, is I, didn't have an outlet to express myself. So with Wrong Planet, I think it's unique in this regard. I like to let people, post what they feel, and I don't want to try to moderate too heavily. It's a fine line, because you can't have anyone attacking someone else, but you can't delete someone who's talking about how they have been bullied and they hate everyone, because that's how they feel, and I think the problem in society is not them posting this, because it's the fact that this is the first time they ever got to say that, So in terms of my own posts, I try to create posts that are really helpful to autistic people and help them fit in with others and be themselves at the same time. For instance, I have dating guides on how to get a hot date, or a less hot date, or but that's one type of post I make. I like those posts a lot, because I think that a lot of autistic people, some have struggled, even to talk, some struggle, and I think that's, something that I think that, in the future we're going to be able to remedy. I think I like to post about scientific research that, has breakthroughs that, help autistic kids or adults express themselves, because autistic people want to express themselves. They really do, and I think that a lot of the frustration they feel is being misunderstood. A lot of the lashing out, speaking from my own perspective, isn't because I'm, I want to be angry or break things, or it's because I feel like I can't be heard I couldn't be heard in any other way. That's why, that's why I broke like all my plates, and I would get mad when my parents tried to, take my dirty plates from the living room, to clean them because it's cooler to break dirty plates.
Alex, do you blog on any, like how often do you actually post a blog that you've written versus more moderating others? Are you on a schedule of how often you're trying to do that?
Right now we're like 100% focused on Autism Talk TV. Some of you might have been interviewed for this. We were in our hotel room videotaping, people who wanted to, have their story heard. So we're trying to post, at least every week, stories of autistic people, stories of professionals helping autistic people, stories of scientists, social skills guides, but in video form because, a lot of people like TV and some people watch TV more than they read, and I think that's true, and I really want Wrong Planet to appeal to a broader, spectrum of people. All
right, thank you, Alex. Jason, you want to take that? The question is, how do you decide what to post, and do you post on a certain schedule? Are you organized in terms of wanting to post on a certain day or multiple days in a week?
That's a good question. I try to focus on a schedule, but sometimes when I post, I just decide one day I want to write about this, and then I write about that. Say it's like I write about a story that I'm writing right now on my blog called, I don't know if you read it, Gregarious Revolution. Mm. And it's like a science fiction story, so whenever I want to update it, I just decide to write about it. Or if one day I want to write something inspirational, I do that too. Or if I just want to write something to help, if I see like something scientific, I'll write that too. I try to go on a schedule, but a lot of times I don't follow it. But I should try and follow it more, because this way people can look forward to seeing things on a certain particular day. Like if they want to see a poem on Monday, they'll see a poem on Monday. If they want to see a story on Tuesday, they see a story on Tuesday. If they want to see something scientific, it'll be like Friday, autism awareness stuff, Saturday.
But it's okay.
But it's okay.
It's a blog.
It's a blog.
It gives you freedom.
Actually, my brother, he tried to convince me to go on a schedule, and I said, and I was like, come on, I really want to just write. And he says to me, it'd be easier because people want to see a schedule. People want to see something on a particular day. But I'm like, but I never know what I want to write. He says to me, but that's what people like to do sometimes. But I just like to write whatever's on my mind.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Most of the time, I like to write a lot of fiction, and sometimes people say, "Oh, what is that based on? What's that character based on in your story?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not telling you."
Like any good fiction writer.
Yeah, any good fiction writer.
Yeah.